Hey everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of Burns Reviews. I am John, as always. If you want more videos just like this, be sure to subscribe, ring that bell, and if you really want to, follow us on Patreon, where you can see exclusive content only found there. And without any further ado, let's talk about The Wolf of Snow Hollow. The Wolf of Snow Hollow is a movie that came out a couple months ago. It actually is a small indie movie that is actually my favorite movie of the year. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. Definitely makes the top 3 if nothing else. I haven't done a list of 2020's best and worst. I kind of don't like doing those very much, mainly because it keeps changing. There's a lot of Oscar movies I usually end up watching in January, February, etc. And the list is always changing, so if you really want to know my list of movies from 2020, check out my letterbox right here, because it's always updated and it has my list of best to least best. I always kind of hate doing a worst of list because, you know, somebody, someplace, somewhere, a team of actors and directors and producers poured what they had into a movie, and it didn't work out. At least the critics felt that way. And I kind of hate to label a movie as being awful, because as somebody who loves film, I would feel like shit if somebody was like, hey, you tried to make a movie and it sucked. You know what I mean? So I like to think of it as my favorite movies to my very, very least favorite movies that I saw in 2020. Go check it out. It's on Letterboxd right here. Now, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. What can I say about this movie? It's directed by Jim Cummings, the director of Thunder Road, which I have not seen yet because I did not want to confuse the two movies, because I just did a ending explained video for The Wolf of Snow Hollow. If you want to go check that out, it's right here. But what can I say about this movie? It's fantastic. It is the final movie by Robert Forster, and it's just really great. It's a drama, it's a mystery, it's a comedy, all blended into one story. So, it's a small town of Snow Hollow in Utah, and you have this deputy, John Marshall, who is trying to figure out how these killings in his small town are actually happening. The main theory being is that it's a werewolf. Now, of course, John, being the reasonable, logical one, goes, well, no, that can't be. It's not a wolf. It's a guy, it's a killer, and we're gonna kill him, or bring him to justice, as he says. And the whole movie, you don't know what's going on. Is there really a werewolf, or is it just a guy, or is it a girl, or you don't know. You have no idea what to think, and the movie keeps pulling you in different directions up until the very end of the film. And I thought it was great. I thought it was funny when it needed to be funny. It had this pitch black comedy, and it even had a bit of drama to it. It really pulled me in. You know, he has a relationship with the father character, and, you know, for those of you that don't know, I lost my father back in April, and it sucked. 2020 sucked. I don't talk about it that much because it's not easy. Still trying to get past that. It's been rough, but this movie resonated with me in a way I can't even fully describe. There are moments that got me choked up. There were moments in the end that really made me sad and kind of, you know, in a bittersweet, beautiful kind of way. This movie is very well crafted. I give Jim Cummings a lot of credit for making this movie. It's also a great whodunit movie. I think this is actually better than Knives Out, which was one of the biggest movies of 2020, or was it 2019? To be honest, it all blends together. I guess it was 2019. Wow. But yeah, I would say it's even better than that. I think over time, it'll be a cult classic that just keeps growing and growing and growing and growing, and I hope it does. And I can't wait to check out his next film, as well as some of his shorts, Thunder Road. And yeah, overall, it's just a great mystery. I don't want to say too much. You know, I'm being a little bit vague with this review because I have a lot that I want to say in my ending explained video, where I kind of review it, and I don't hold back at all. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take everything that I want to say about this movie and wait for that video, which will be out shortly if it's not out already. But I can say this about the movie. It is engaging, it is hysterical, and it's really heartfelt. It's very well done. In researching the movie, I found out that Jim Cummings wrote this in a very unique way. He actually recorded it as a podcast and then just kept editing the same audio track again and again and again to give it a more of an organic feel to it, to make it feel a little bit more authentic. That way, you could just hand it off to Robert Forster or Jimmy Tatro, he's in this movie, and they can just kind of hear it the way that he performs it, and there's less rehearsal, and it really is like a very innovative movie that I really enjoyed. I've watched it 3 times already. It's a movie that deserves multiple viewings because you don't really get a lot of the mystery elements the first time around. Not to say that they're too obtuse to follow, they're not. It's just, it's one of those movies that you have to watch more than once. Everything was just well put together for what feels like pretty much an indie movie. I do think this is a studio film. I think Orion Classics is the one who distributed it or produced it, picked it up. So I know this is like his first outing out of indie film, and it's an actual studio film. But it has all the taperings of a really good indie movie with a slightly bigger budget. A lot of failed attempts of trying to make the werewolf a mainstream fun idea. And I think this really nails it. You know, the character of John is a recovering alcoholic who falls off the wagon, and Jim Cummings basically said that he wanted to do a parallel between somebody who was a recovering alcoholic who fell off the wagon, who had, like, you know, a case of the Sunday scaries, which is the following morning waking up not knowing what happened the night before because they blacked out, and he wanted to do a parallel between that and the traditional stories of a werewolf, because he imagined it would be the same thing, because if you're a werewolf, you know, the moon comes out, you turn into a werewolf, and then you don't remember anything that happened the night before, but you have all of the shame and the fear and paranoia that goes with that. So I think he did a really good job doing a parallel between those two. Yeah, I can't praise this movie enough. I'm fanboying about it just thinking about it. If I have to do negatives, because I have to be objective, I have to do that, I would say that not all the characters are overly fleshed out. I mean, you have the main character, John, who is very well fleshed out, but a lot of the side characters are pretty one-note, which is fine for a horror movie. Again, it's hard to nitpick this movie because I really did enjoy it. It pays homage to a lot of David Fincher movies and Hitchcock movies. I think it even has like a reference to The Burbs, which is a Tom Hanks movie that came out in the 80s that I used to love watching as a kid. There's a lot in this movie that I like, and that is why I'm going to give The Wolf of Snow Hollow an A. Anyway guys, be sure to check out my Ending Explained video if you have seen it, and if you haven't, be sure to subscribe to get videos just like this. We've been doing reviews pretty steadily now. We got a lot more coming down the pipeline. Until next time guys, thank you so much for watching. Welcome to 2021. Hopefully it'll be a better year, a new page, a new chapter for all of us. And until next time guys, thank you so much for watching. I've been John, you've been Burned, and we will see you next time here on Birds Reviews.